Touchdown with Aaron Masemola. On the bench with local legends. Your questions, your heroes.
Welcome to the Touchdown with Aaron Masemola. And yes, it is an absolutely exciting week in terms of South African sports. It is time for netball to be back in South Africa with the 2020 Telkom Netball League that will be hosted right here in Bloemfontein. But now joining me is a player that will feature at the tournament. She'll play for the Free State Crinums. She's also the vice captain of the Free State Crinums. But also an interesting thing about her is that she's the captain for the Proteas under 21 squad. Her name is Sikholiwe Mdletshe. Sikholiwe, how are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. And yourself?
I'm doing really, really well. I'm certain that there's a new buzz and a new excitement to this new 2020 TNL that will be kicking off quite shortly. How are the ladies feeling? And most importantly, how does it feel to be back on the court after at least 7 months of not being able to play some competitive netball?
I think it's really exciting times. The girls are excited. You know, we all the teams are here at the hotel. Well, most of them are here at this hotel. And you feed off each other's vibe. Like, you're seeing your old friends, you're seeing other teammates. Not teammates, but other competitors and stuff. So it really just puts that feeling of, you know, this is here. It's now or never. So team is really excited for what's to happen. We've been working on a few things, and there's always progress, which is great. And to be back on court, it feels more real every day. Actually, the more we train, like tomorrow you go in for training, you're like, it's one more day and we're starting. So as the days go by, it feels more real. The energy is much higher. The vibe is just great. You really can't explain it.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. And I'm certain there's also a different buzz because you guys have got some home ground advantage. How important will that be for you ladies as you guys look to lift your fourth trophy in the Telkom Netball League?
It's great. There won't be spectators at the venue, right? But for us to just still be in bloom. I think the other day we had recovery in the swimming pool, and it actually started drizzling while we were in the swimming pool. And we're like, we're used to this. And the other teams, you can see them, they're like, what's going on? So for us, a lot of things, we're used to the weather, we're used to the traveling and the conditions of Bloemfontein. We know that the seasons can change 4 times, and we're fine with that, whereas the other teams aren't. So I think the home ground advantage just goes in knowing the province much better, knowing the area much better, and it feels better. We didn't travel. We traveled 15 minutes to get to the hotel from, our places, our flats and stuff. So really, it's home ground advantage in a different way, but it's home ground advantage is home ground advantage at the end of the day.
That's very, very true. And I think also it's important for us to mention the psychological edge, because you know that you are in an environment that is a little bit more comfortable to you, where the opponent might be feeling almost out of place a little bit as well. But in terms of talking about an advantage, I would love to touch on the sponsor, the Telkom Netball League. And we hear the name there, Telkom. How important have they been in terms of supporting young ladies in South African netball, just to give them the opportunity to showcase their talent? I also know that Puma will be involved this year as well in terms of sponsoring the kit. How important is it for these sponsors to show their support for South African netball?
It's so important. Netball is one of the biggest, I think it's one of the biggest female sports in South Africa. And we're growing so much. And to have such brands that are behind us. A brand, firstly, let's start with Puma. They sponsoring the kit. The kit looks awesome. It's beautiful. It's everything that we could have imagined. And those are the things that we want. Puma is a brand that is focused on women and making sure that they are really out there fighting for women. And to have them on board is awesome. And then you have a sponsor like Telkom. Telkom is huge. Telkom is, I think it's in whole of Africa. And to have them backing netball up, it just means so much to us, because it shows that we're going somewhere. and people want to be with us as we go on that journey. And to have a sponsor like Telkom, where they have really done a lot. I mean, the venue, we saw the venue today and it looks beautiful, and they're not even done with it. So, yeah, it's really great to have such sponsors behind us.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. So important for young ladies in South Africa to be supported as well. In terms of this year's tournament, it will be hosted in a bio bubble, which makes it quite strange and quite interesting as well, because we have to admit that 2020 has brought its own special challenges as well. Going into the tournament, how much of an influence do you think the bio bubble will be, or could it possibly be somewhat of an advantage?
It's different. It's very different. I mean, if I can take you back, we're going from playing a weekend. Last year, you played the weekend. You had 5 days in the week to fix the mistakes of the weekend, and then you play the next weekend. So you have time in between to actually talk about the mistakes, fix the mistakes, and, implement the solutions. Whereas now you have no time. You play the one day, you play the next day. You need to fix everything the night after the game. And so I don't know if that's an advantage or it just puts us in a weird position, but it's something different. And I think we up to the challenge. As for being in the bio bubble, it's very different. We see the other teams every day, like for breakfast, sometimes lunch, and always dinner. So you see all the players all the time. But we also interact with the other players where we can, because, I mean, we are friends at the end of the day. We play so many tournaments with each other. And I think one of the other players from one of the Gauteng teams said she packed in her whole house. She packed in her flats just to come here for the 3 weeks. So it's very different, because you have to pack in stuff that you're not usually packing in. I had to pack in my whole bookcase. So it's those type of differences that make the bio bubble much different. Yes, we can't go out, and sometimes it is a disadvantage, because, I mean, come next week when you've played about 6 games, you get there and you're just craving something really nice, but you can't go get it because, we're in the bubble. So those differences come into play, but I don't think it's major things. And it's something that we can adjust to. I think it's been a few days, almost 5 days now, and we've adjusted pretty well. It's about just us finding comfort in the hotel. And because we know that when it's on court, everything there, it's not comfortable there. So enjoying the bio bubble, definitely different, but, we live and we learn.
Definitely. You talk about we live and we learn. You guys have won 3 of these tournaments in the past, and now the big question becomes, can you possibly win a 4th? You have home ground advantage, as we have discussed already. How important will this tournament be, and what are the chances that we could see you lift another trophy right here in Bloem?
Yeah, I mean, we are a young team. I'll start there. And for us, looking at the past doesn't help us. It really is not beneficial to say, yeah, remember we won 3 titles at that time. That's in the past. We weren't even there. Some of us were in high school when that happened. So for us, it's about, how do we create our own legacy? How do we start our own thing? So it's not about focusing. I think there hasn't been a moment in this whole time in the bio bubble that we actually talked about the past 3 trophies. But, because social media and all of that, there's always that pressure of, is Free State going to bring up a 4th one? For us, that's not our focus. We want to play each game for each game. Our vision is to win the tournament, yes. But we know that is at the end. Right now, we're focusing on our first game, which is Kingdom Stars. And once we get over that, we'll focus on our next game and the game after that. Is there a possibility of winning a title? Definitely. Every team has a chance. And that's the reality of it. It's the team that's going to make the most least mistakes on court that's going to end up at that top. So we're just working on making sure that we stay consistent in the way we play intense netball, and make sure that we use our strengths to our benefit. And we can only hope that at the end we'll be in that final and we'll be the ones lifting the trophy at the end.
Definitely. I can promise you one thing, that many people in Bloem are waiting for you guys to lift the trophy. But most importantly, as you do mention, it's about the process, and we are fully behind you guys throughout the process as you now look forward to your opening game as well. So Sikholiwe, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And good luck for the 2020 Telkom Netball League. It's bound to be an incredibly special tournament, and we will look forward to touching base with you again throughout the tournament as well, as you guys continue to chase your 4th title.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your guys' support there at OFM. We really appreciate it.
Touchdown with Aaron Masemola. On the bench with local legends. OFM Sport. The personalities behind the plays.